What'd you kind of just make of the start, and then you guys obviously turn it around with about 6 minutes left to go in the first half?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was same thing you saw. You know, I think we're a little lethargic, and obviously play a team that's excited to play you, and I think their handsiness kind of shocked some of our guys. I mean, I think that's more probably steals than we've given up the entire year. So then we got the right guys in there, and then made some adjustments, and they did a good job of somewhat extending the lead there, and kind of the same thing in the second half. So
good to see Graham and Nolan get back on the beam there.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there was still, you know, obviously a lot of room for growth there. We had some breakdowns defensively, you know, that were glaring. Just had one guy missing coverage, one guy missing responsibility, and then, you know, they do a nice job. Nicholls does of switching defenses and doing things, and again the handsiness. And I think even though the guys were a little undersized, they were really physical, very physical.
What about Braden with the 25 points, 11 of 12, and just kind of doing what he does when he's efficient?
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that when you throw him in a game like that, like he gets it. I mean, fives were kind of the hot receiver tonight. Yeah. He understands that, and he's going to put the ball in the hole for the most part. I mean, he struggled a little bit, you know, the other night, but for the most part, he's going to put it in the hole if he gets time. Got great hands. And I also thought he was pretty good defensively too. So
you threw a little zone at him. Is that the first time you've thrown out?
No, we played it now 5 or 6 times.
What do you think of it?
I mean, I thought it, you know, was good. I mean, for the most part, I think we gave up a 3, maybe the first possession on a skip, and then for the most part, we were in the right spots, and I still think we get a little more aggressive with it, with our hands, maybe tip some balls, deflections, but yeah, no, I think we used it the other night too, and obviously something that would be nice to be able to jump in and out of it.
Shot over 70% in the second half. What did you see out of the offense? Was able to shoot at a clip that was incredible?
They're like a pressure team, and so it's hard to swing the ball. It's hard to actually run offense against them. So I think our guys settled in and did a better job of looking through that, finding the cutter, finding the slip guy, finding the post. And our posts were actually, you know, posting up for the most part, wanting the ball in there. So, I mean, that ended up shooting a high percentage doing that. We shot a lot of layups and a lot of, you know, things around the rim. But we made some nice threes, too. I thought our guys stepped up in the second half especially. And it's good to see Dusty make a couple, Nolan make a couple. Those are all good signs moving forward.
I think you guys came into this game shooting 80% from the free throw line, and then that'll obviously improve after tonight. Has there been anything different you guys are doing at practice, or are guys putting in more work individually this season? Or?
No, I think it's just by and large. You know, obviously when you got a guy who, I don't know how many made in a row, 48 or something, or 50, that helps your percentages. You know, Huff worked hard on it in the off season because he wasn't great last year. I think Graham struggled a little bit at the start of the year, but Graham's a good free throw shooter. I think Ryan worked hard on it too. So hopefully that trend will continue to keep going upwards, and that's a good sign. Very good sign.
You talked about how close the guys are. A lot of the guys are, not a ton of separation. Do you kind of see that with, like the other night, it was Caleb, and,
totally.
And now today it was...
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to explain that to you guys, and you seem a little bit slow to absorb it like we are with our ball screen coverage, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's what you have. I like when there's a lot, and if it's not that guy's night, then you know, the positive is there's somebody waiting to come in, like Huff, Farike, that, you know, fortunately, usually those guys, one of the two, it is their night, you know, and one of the two, whether it's Nolan or KB, it's their night. And those fours have kind of been balance each other out. When you look at the total production in each spot, it's pretty good, you know, when you combine Braden and Graham, when you combine Mike and Ben, you know, when you find KB and whether it's Dusty or KB and Nolan, it's pretty solid. So, you know, that's where the depth helps. hopefully I can get Emmanuel in there too. We're trying to just, to get him a little more comfortable on the offensive side of things because he's so good defensively, and I think that'll.
Point guard an exception to that rule. He just never.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously, and this wasn't one of his better games tonight. He was a little loose with the ball, but I mean, he set such an incredibly high standard. So, I mean, he is human, but I mean, up to this point, he's been pretty superhuman. So, obviously, we lean into him pretty hard.
Time for one more.
Obviously, the last two losses, won't hurt you guys much in the rankings or the tournament seeding, but I imagine sometimes losses could, shake a team's confidence. Where have you seen this team being able to respond to games like that and coming back and
Yeah, I know,
playing
that's
like
a great
this?
question. I mean, you probably have to ask them that, I mean, I think sometimes it does. It just causes just a whole different aura, around practice and in the locker room, so I think for the most, we got a lot of veterans here, so they're used to it, and they've experienced that in one way or another. So I'd say so far this team handles it pretty well.
Let's go.